Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where we have quite the adventure ahead of us, heading all the way with my new Ferrari SF90 Stradale back to the Shmuseum for the first time. Now this is a massive journey supported by BOTB, more about that later, but we're actually starting here in Denmark at the Zenvo HQ at the factory, having visited my TSRS, and this means from here via the ferry over to Germany, a checkpoint at Hollmann International, a quick lap of the Nürburgring, and then the Eurotunnel back to the UK before we arrive at my garage. The journey in front of us is 1,500 kilometers, about 1,000 miles on top of the journey that we've already been doing with the car since picking it up in Italy, hence why at this point it's never yet been home. But this is all going to come in one video from here all the way through. Let's get ourselves ready to get on the road because this is going to be a big one. It has been amazing to be here at Zenvo, to see the TSRS, which is not all that far away now, but also to tick off something from the bucket list, an idea that I had since the inception of this whole project, which was to come here with a Shmeemobile, or even in this case, with two of the Shmeemobiles. The trip actually started with the Lusso and with the STO, I think probably 5 weeks or so ago now. The STO is already back home, but along the way, we acquired the SF90 Stradale. It's been in Maranello, the hometown of Ferrari. It's been up north all the way through Germany. We've had it for some laps at the Nürburgring, and of course we have driven it through Denmark, here and even across the border to Sweden and back. But now it is time to start this journey back home, and when it gets home it's going to need a proper cleanup. We have splatted many a bug. It is obliterated with bug splats, and it properly needs a complete clean throughout. To be honest, we will get there, we'll do it no doubt at Topaz when we do make it. But up to this point, if I just step in here quickly, we already have on the trip, wait for it, one more moment, we have 3,493 kilometers. It will quite literally be on 5,000 kilometers when we get this car home. That's massive. It will be about 3 weeks old with 5,000 kilometers on it. I don't think many Ferraris do that. I'm quite proud of myself. The perfect running in tour for a car like this. Over 300 on the Autobahn, Nürburgring laps, but there's more ahead of us. The sun is quickly setting. We'll get started in a minute, go say our goodbyes before we set off from here at Zenvo. And like I said, we've got stops along the way, lots to see, lots to do, but let's get ourselves ready. We are getting underway. Of course, we have the Lusso in tow with all of the luggage, with Schmark 150. We're going to be heading out initially tonight. That sounds nice. For the first about 3 hours or so of the journey, we're going to be catching this ferry that I haven't taken since we did it on the Gumball 3000 back, I want to say in 2015. It's a short little ferry over to Germany and then down towards our hotel stop for tonight. But this is going to be a long one. I think possibly the longest single slog I might ever have done in a single video, but here we are. Farewell to Zenvo. We'll be back to see the TSRS again before long. For now, we're driving off into the sunset. Hopefully we have the opportunity to catch the ferry before the end of the light for today. We shall see. Onwards to Hollmann International, where they have an amazing lineup, and then let's see if we can throw in a cheeky Nürburgring lap along the way also. Well, this is quite fun. We have arrived just in time to go straight through to board a ferry from here over to Germany. We've got the Lusso in tow. I think I'm in the right place, learning as we go. Up over this way, obviously we are in electric at the moment. Kind of intrigued to see how this works. Perfect time to be crossing on the ferry. Look at this. Sunset. Beautiful. Perfect. All right, let's bring this car for its first roll-on, roll-off sea adventure. I mean, it's done everything up to this point. And then obviously it's a short journey from here across to Germany, I think 20 minutes or so. The last of the sun for today. Sun setting off in the distance. While we make our way across the sea, it's actually about 45 minutes. Now, road trip woes, the sound of the Lusso. This car is being a little bit peculiar. Case in point. It's, for some reason, throwing a few errors at us. Traffic sign recognition, blind spot monitoring, assistant adaptive cruise control, you name it, low beam failure, everything seems to be working. Safety system wise, but it is definitely being a little bit funny as we now head out into Germany. Predictive emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, you name it. So this is basically a sensor that's tripped or a software issue. This is not actually all of those things not working, but the downside is the music isn't working and the passenger display isn't working. Oh dear. Let's hope this comes back to life a little bit shortly, a little bit later on. For now, we've got about an hour to our hotel for the night, so not too bad. And funny thing about being right here, I remember parking on the right just here with Gumball 3000. This is where we regrouped. We had parked all the cars, had a little chat with Max Cooper down here. Fun times. Parked up for the night, pretty uneventful to begin with, to be honest, taking it super easily on the Autobahn. Tomorrow, however, we have a long old Autobahn slog via the checkpoint on our way towards Nürburg. So let's go in, have some rest, we'll be back on the road in just a moment. Good morning. This is the moment of truth. Will the car turn on without electrical gremlins? Let's see. This is the hope. No, unfortunately not. So that means we continue with no sound system, no passenger display, and blind spot things on all the time, and no cruise control. This is frustrating. Inevitably, it's going to be a very easy fix at the dealer, but it does mean we've got another 1,300 kilometers to drive without all of those systems. Oh well, for now, we will head on. We've got 2 hours ahead of us this morning to get over to Hollmann International near Bremen, and when we're in Bremen, we'll have a check out of what they've got there. It is a beautiful day, and we do, at the moment at least, have a bit of de-restricted Autobahn. We're taking it a little bit easier today though, because it's been pretty busy out. In fact, as we came past Hamburg, the traffic was really quite intense. So I say taking it easier, we're cruising at 180 kilometers an hour. The beauty of the German Autobahn, about 40 minutes to Hollmann. So to be honest, all pretty smooth sailing. But you can see here, for example, look at how many cars there are on the road. It is one of those days, everybody is travelling, lots of cars fully loaded up, lots of cars with roof boxes and that kind of thing as well. And here we are driving in a desperately impractical car, currently with no cruise control or music. And this is when you realise how much you do actually appreciate music. But I've been speaking to the guys at Ferrari, and fingers crossed they can find a way that we can remotely reset something or something like that. We'll have to see a little bit later on. Otherwise, whether it's going to stay like this until we get all the way back home, who knows at this stage. There's some good news. I've actually been on the phone to the technicians from Ferrari London, who instructed me what I needed to do down here, where you've got the fuse box and the battery effectively, which is not too complicated. Pop that back away, and basically everything's now running as it should be. No more errors. We've got music back. We've got the passenger display on. There's a bit of configuring you have to do, things like making sure that the windows go to the right height, that kind of stuff. But no more stress. We'll go grab a bite to eat, and then a short hop from here to go check out a pretty amazing showroom. We are arriving then, here at Hollmann, my first time coming to visit. Look at that, we've got the G-Wagon army outside, but wait until you see what they have inside here. The display is going to be mind-blowing. I cannot wait to have a look. So let's just park up, I think right here. Look at that, 5 G-Wagons, including the Brabus. Oh gosh, it's good to have the reversing camera back. It's all these things that you only realise when they're back up and running as they should be. Right, let's head on in, go say hello. Come on inside and prepare for jaws to drop. Feast your eyes here at Hollmann at the cars, from hypercars to some Novatec cars. They work very closely together, to some very special interiors as well, but Novatec F8 in Largo, the Tecart GT Street R. Come on through. We're going to go, I think, down towards the other end, where if you thought the G-Wagons outside were cool, look what we've got over here. The display of the rather large monsters from the Mercedes G team. We've got 3 of the 99 Landaulets and a 6x6 from Brabus as well. And look, they even make a Rolls-Royce Phantom look small. That is amazing. I had a fantastic experience in a Landaulet when we went on safari in South Africa. But then we've got the Maybach S-classes, we've got some Ferraris, we've got the likes of the SF90s. This is the Assetto Fiorano. And now that I've done so many miles in mine, I'd actually be quite interested to drive the Assetto Fiorano again. We've got a few of the Overdose Cullinans from Novatec as well. This beautiful Bugatti Chiron, have a look at this. Navy blue exposed carbon fiber bodywork. It even has the navy blue wheels with the calipers to match that very royal blue. In fact, dual tone interior. That specification is really cool. We've got a Senna, we've got a Brabus G-Wagon. This stands out the Porsche 935, they only made 77 of them, track only, a bit like the GT2 RS Club Sport, full carbon body as you can see. We've got the Pista, the STO, maybe that's a specification that would appeal a little bit more to Richard Hammond, perhaps, if he doesn't like the pink and yellow, white and black, a little bit safer. But come on through, because here we've got a pair of Novitec wide-body Lamborghini Urases, but come and have a look at the interior of this car. This is, of course, completely bespoke. The lime green accents and the quilting that you can see on the seats, perforations and so forth. Some nice details on that one. If we head back through all of the cars that we have around here, super rare SLR 722S, one of 150 of the SLR 722 Roadsters. We've got a few more Ferraris. This lineup stands out a lot. The Tech-Art GT Street R. Have a look inside here as well, because not only do we have the full exterior, which I went to have a look at Tech-Art, but look at the details of this. This is actually a Hollmann specific interior that they've done in this car, with the red leather, with the pleating, the white stripes you can see. Look at the armrest and the central tunnel areas as well. Just really nicely presented. And even on the sides of the seats, you've got this little Hollmann badge right there as well, indicating, of course, what we're looking at. So that is a very special thing. When it comes to Novitec F8 and Largos, I did drive a red one at Novitec. I don't know if it was that one, but you can just see how wide this thing is. Absolutely mental. We've then got the two GLSs. We've got the Maybach. We've also got the AMG here. These, again, have completely custom Hollmann interiors. And in fact, have a look inside here, the tan leather that we've got with the red stitching that you can see all around, and the Hollmann embroideries and details as well. Really, really cool. But to have been here and come to visit, this is like kid in a candy store stuff. This many epic cars around. I've never been and seen the selection here before, but my mind is fairly blown. They've just been parking all of the G63s back indoors, but it's a big thanks to Hollmann International for the visit today, because we've also just been out with two of the cars that you've seen earlier, all of which will be over on the Hollmann channel, so make sure to check that out. But talking of thanks, I would also like to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, BOTB. BOTB have two supercar competitions every single week, two guaranteed winners with all sorts of different cars available, including the likes of the AMG G63, the Lamborghini Huracans, you name it, with special cars added to different competitions as well, with guaranteed two winners every week, with tickets starting from just 45 pence, and you can include the option to win up to £50,000 of cash in the boot as well, with the competitions open worldwide. There are two winners every week. I have met lots of winners. I have seen them giving away cars. It is absolutely amazing, and they've been running since 1999 now as well. Really exciting. So make sure to check out BOTB, and you could find that the team are knocking on your door to let you know that you have won a supercar. For us today though, it's back into the cars to continue this journey, but if you'd like to find out more about BOTB, the links and information are all down below. Let's get ready though. We've got to drive ahead in the evening with the sun setting down the Autobahn onwards towards our next stop. We are rolling. The Lusso sounds fabulous, and obviously we have this fully running as it should be. No error messages. To be honest, that was a really easy fix. I knew it was going to be a software type thing, and I am massively relieved, I kind of twisted my words there, that this is now all good for the continuation. Lift system up. Thankfully that had never been fishy at all. Out we roll. We've got we've got two more checkpoints on today's drive. It's going to be a long evening. 2 and a bit hours to the next one though, so on we go. Well, we now have a bit of open Autobahn, so drop the gears. Let's pop this on the performance screen actually. There we go, foot down. This car is ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. I can't get my head around the amount of performance that this thing has. I know we had plenty of time on the Autobahn in the other direction. In this direction, to be honest, that is the first time I've put my foot down. And we've been driving from Copenhagen back this way quite a fair few hours already. However, we actually got some really cool news, like really, really, really cool news, which is that the F8 and Largo we just saw is the very car that I drove when I visited Novitec. So I've driven that car. At the time I drove it, the interior hadn't yet been done. That has now been done. So really quite cool to have seen that at Hollmann as the road opens up again, drop it to 4th gear. Qualifying mode with 1,000 horsepower on tap. And we're going to be approaching some more roadworks. Yes, okay, back into automatic. And back into performance and back into sport. I really like the immense amount of configurability that you have with all of this setup. Something that to many people might be overwhelming, but I enjoy having the E-Manettino, the normal Manettino, the H-pattern control down here in the middle, and just everything allowing you to have your car exactly how you want it, how you're feeling, what you want to do, how you want to be driving. It is quickly that time of day, the end of the evening, the light going down. We've had a few quicker sections of Autobahn, you could say. In fact, on the display screen here, have a look, what do we do? 328 kilometers an hour. That's about 202, 203 miles an hour. So yeah, it's a quick old thing this. Anyway, we are heading to our second checkpoint. We did have one more, our last checkpoint, which is actually to pick up Schmark's car before we continue towards Nürburgring. We are parked up at long last in a garage at the Nürburgring, and I'm exhausted. This has been quite a long adventure so far. One thing that's interesting, by the way, is that the furthest point we went in Sweden is actually a touch closer to home than where we collected the car, about 1,500 kilometers in each direction, Maranello to Sweden. But nonetheless, we've managed up to this point. We still have a fair bit to go tomorrow morning. We will work out the plans overnight, or perhaps as they come, and then it's about 650, 700 kilometers to get that home, when it's going to be just shy of 5,000 kilometers, but it will be just over 3,000 miles. A 3,000 mile running-in tour. That's fairly bonkers. Anyway, upstairs for now, have a rest, and back with you in a moment. It's time to do this then, the last leg of the Where's Shmee Eurotour, the last driving leg. There are still some more videos to come, but it means taking the two Ferraris home to the Shmuseum to finally bring the SF90 back to my garage for the first time, which I'm really quite excited about. Now, I had contemplated going for a lap of the Nordschleife this morning. I think I'm going to give that one a miss. I just feel completely exhausted and, to be honest, ready to get back home. Let's have a quick check of where we are at in terms of the mileage on here so far. Wake it up quickly. We have 4,310 kilometers. So as I said last night, it will be just shy of 5,000 when we get it back. From here, we've got around 4.5 hours taking us obviously out of the Eifel Mountains, all the way across Belgium, into France, eventually into England. And although that car has been to England, technically not in my possession. It was at the dealership, it was at Topaz for the full paint protection film. And talking paint protection film, we're gonna have to get this properly cleaned up, but that's one of the beauties of PPF. The paintwork underneath is perfect. The Lusso's been home, but today we're gonna have the SF90 at the garage, at the Shmuseum for the first time. So let's get ourselves ready. No Nürburgring lap this time, although this did a few, and even the Lusso has done one, so stay tuned, that's coming very soon. And yeah, we'll get this started, make our way back. A quick one before we get on the road. A friend just pulled in with his new Cayenne Turbo GT. These, of course, are super rare. The fastest SUV, you can say. Lots of power, very dynamic for such a car. The Cayenne Coupe style. Look at the aero here with the winglets that you have. Lots of carbon. Let's squeeze around to the front inside the workshop. Have a little look at that. But driving it obviously on a road trip, literally I think 2 days after picking it up. Hey, it's on Corsas. It comes on P0 Corsa tyres. That's kind of cool. And already has done 8 or so laps of the Nordschleife, which is pretty epic if you ask me. It's how it should be done with these kind of cars. Pick them up, take delivery, bring them straight to the ring, have some fun, enjoy them as they were intended to be used when they were built. It's time for us to go then. So let's head on the road. First few hours, I guess, of the journey ahead of us with these two to make it back to the Shmuseum. Jump ahead about 4.5 hours and we have made it to the Eurotunnel. It is a magnificent afternoon, beautiful weather. We booked with Flexi Plus as usual, popped into the lounge to grab some snacks, but today it is super busy. I don't think I've ever seen so many cars here at the Flexi Plus side, which also means at the check-in desks and the passport control, big queues. So thankfully, having priority massively paid off to make this one easy, and we'll board on the wide carriages and all of that side of it as well. But this means now being in France, having touched in the Netherlands and Belgium, the SF90 has added a few more countries to its list. We've been in Italy, Austria, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Netherlands, Belgium, and now in France, heading towards England, which will be number 9 for that car as we approach that 5,000 kilometers out with it. And today we've had mostly a cruise, but the first tank and the first short stretch in Germany involved a section of de-restricted Autobahn, and quite excitingly, a new top speed for this SF90, 333 kilometers an hour on the dashboard, which is 207 miles per hour, in the process splatting a whole lot more bugs. And in fact, look at the front of the Lusso on the dark blue potsy paintwork, the number of bug splats, that is going to be a bit of a problem. Sometimes the bug splats, if you don't wash them off soon, can leave marks. We were always intending to replace the PPF on the front of this, and we'll probably need to do that. But the next tank we had was basically super chill, taking it easy, massive cruise, and these two are probably now on for their most economical fuel tanks they will ever have done. So it was about, in total drive time, just over 4 hours. It's taken 4 hours and 25 minutes from departing to arriving at the check-in desks here, of which we had about 20 minutes stopped for a fill-up and to grab some snacks. So total about 4 hours and 5 minutes driving, which is not all that bad for Nürburgring from Apex to the Eurotunnel, and we've got a few hours on the other side as well. So just waiting until it's time to go on board. One of the advantages of Flexi Plus is you can go on any train you want, and yeah, go from there, continuing the journey. And unusually, I haven't mentioned this yet, in Belgium, we went the whole way across Belgium with this weather, really quite pleasant, and no traffic, not even on the ring roads around Brussels or anywhere else, none whatsoever, which is super, super, super unusual. So we've had a very, very, very smooth journey up to this point, really smooth end to this tour, just the one final bit to go. So let's go get boarded onto the train, or grab some snacks, get on the train, go from there onwards towards the Shmuseum. Here we go then, down towards the train. I'm gonna get ready to get boarded for the short hop over towards England, 35 minutes under the tunnel. We're skipping straight through, which is always fun, in with the taller vehicles, so trucks and vans and stuff, because it also happens to be a little bit wider, which certainly helps a lot when you are with a car like this. Obviously taking the Eurotunnel a lot these days. We've had the journey back as well with Tony and Brad with the STO, and now with this as well, as we roll straight on through into here. And then very shortly, I suppose, we will pop out the other side for the first time for the SF90 into the Eurotunnel train, ready for the voyage over. And just like this, we are continuing the drive through the train, and hey, it's kind of magic. We're out on the other side, or we're about to be out, thankfully, still with the sun shining. As we head with this car in my ownership to drive out into the UK for the first time ever onto English ground. Right, here we go. Everything swapped over back into miles, obviously, in the car. I'm currently in electric mode, but if I just press this button, engine starts up. Bit of a cold start, but we'll make our way through. Continue onwards. Here we are, we're back, we're home at last. The newest Shmeemobile, the SF90 Stradale, is here at the garage at the Shmuseum for the first time, absolutely looking the part, although in desperate need of a major clean-up. But I tell you something kind of fun about this car, and my choice for the specification is that a year ago, when I was choosing the magnificent blue Electrico paintwork, it was exactly the same time that I was choosing here at the Shmuseum what colour to paint the walls. As you can probably tell, there's a bit of a theme going on. The blue crew is returning, and something else quite interesting is how similar the paint colour is to the cobalt blue on the Vantage GT8. Now, when we've got this fully cleaned up, we'll get the two cars side by side to see exactly how they look. That's not a multi-layer paint in the way that this is. They are a slightly different shade, but I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks. And then also, we have the three Italian Shmeemobiles reunited with the STO, which was brought back by Brad and Tony over on the Shmuseum channel, and it's been very kindly cleaned up by Tom as well, and absolutely looking the part, because to be honest, it was probably almost as equally bug splattered as these two. Now, as I said, they're going to need some major work to make them tidy, because they've obliterated many a bug at very high speeds throughout this adventure, and the PPF has hopefully done its job, but we will need to work on that. I'm going to take a look though at exactly what the mileage count is now on this, and something quite funny about the SF90 is that it has a habit of always auto-locking itself. I haven't found the setting yet to turn this off, but if ever I hop out of the car and close the door, even if there's a passenger still sat in there, it will lock itself again. So of course the alarm goes off, and the next time you step in, you've got a break-in detected message on the dashboard. And of course it sets off the tracker and all of that, so it's not so ideal, and there's got to be a setting to disable that somewhere. Anyway, let's have a look at the mileage count that we have in here. Wake this up. It comes in at, wait for it, a total of 3,073 miles. Over 3,000 miles. In fact, over 3,000 miles in addition to what it had when I picked it up, which was around 41, I think, the basically factory testing mileage. So what a running in tour. Not many brand new cars like this, I think, start off their ownership and lives being used as properly as this car has. Massive tour around Europe, visiting so many different countries, over 200 miles an hour multiple times, including today. Obviously a few laps of the Nürburgring, there we go with the auto lock, and so much more. The car is well and truly an epic machine, but when it comes to mileage, that's done 3,000. The STO has done, I think, about 2,000 on this trip, but the Lusso has done loads, because of course we started with these two together. We started off on this journey taking the STO and the GTC4Lusso. Then we did the whole park up the STO with the Satin crew and go down to Italy again with this to collect the SF90. And there are going to be various things with this that need to be done. But let me just grab the key, because it started on 11,400 miles. And let me lean through. It says just down here on the bottom right. What are we on now? What's this number going to be? 16,700. This car has done 5,300 miles on one trip. Now that's actually crazy, even thinking about it myself. I didn't realize it was quite so many, but hey, it was bought to be used, it was bought to be enjoyed, and it was bought to fill a purpose. And it's been, well, basically one of the perfect dream support cars we could imagine for something like this. Just again, very much going to need to tidy this up. And that's always been in the plans since prior to even collecting it. In fact, as part of the purchase, we were always going to do new PPF on the front, and we decided to leave it until after the Where's Shmee tour. So we'll get that done now. So of course tonight, the SF90 will spend its first UK night in my ownership here at the garage. I could technically plug it in to the CTEC Charge Storm Connected 2 that we have over there, the EV charger, and it'll have a full electric battery in the morning. The only thing is the RS3 is parked right there, and I don't want to run a cable over the top of it. And I don't have the key for it, because we've only got one key for that, because it's a car from Audi. So that's not going to work so well. We'll just have to leave it kind of as it is and take the Lusso home. So we'll need to move some stuff around, sort all of that out, and then take the Lusso home for tonight. Wow, what an adventure. There are more videos to come. It's been moderately epic, to say the least. Amazing to be in Italy with, well, all three of the Italian cars, to be honest. So all I can say is thanks for being part of it. Thank you for your support throughout all of this. We started this drive at Zenvo in Denmark. We took the ferry at sunset over to Germany. We've driven on the Autobahn, had a stop at Hollmann International and saw some amazing cars there. We've continued along to the Nürburgring to visit Apex, to see that Cayenne Turbo GT from my friend, and today crossing the Eurotunnel back towards London. Wow, 1,500 kilometers or so, about 1,000 miles on the road in the SF90 Stradale. Thank you for joining me for this, and thank you of course also to the sponsor of today's journey, BOTB. More information down below. You never know, it could be one of you who wins one of their upcoming competitions. 2 competitions per week, guaranteed winners, supercars, plus potentially up to £50,000 of cash in the boot as well. All that information and the details down underneath this. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you as always. For now, time to go home and have a break. The SF90 is back home. That's it though, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.